Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rekakadash, Yahweh, in the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shah, in the name of His only begotten Son. And this lesson is about the UFOs and some of the major appearances of the UFOs. Now, when you look at how the UFOs operate and who is operating the UFOs, you get an understanding of when the UFOs appear. Now, Ezekiel, the first chapter, gives you a good understanding of the UFOs and of how some of the words that they use to explain the UFOs or the IFOs, because we have identified them. And so, Ezekiel, the first chapter, we're going to get verse 4. It say, "For I look." Now, when Ezekiel, this is the beginning of his writings. So this is very powerful because he's dealing with the angels. You see? And so this is in the very beginning. He tells you when it happened, when he was in among the captives. He was in captivity, just like William Wallace in the cotton fields. And then verse 4 comes on. He say, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud." You see, can you see something coming out of the sky? And I'm glad he wrote north and not sky or heaven, because you can understand he's talking about up high. He's coming from in the sky with the clouds. He said a great cloud. So he didn't say a whirlwind came out of the clouds. It say a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. He made it singular. So whatever this was, it looks like a cloud. Then he say, "And a fire enfolding itself." So it was like a contained fire, a contained light. It say, "And a brightness was about it." So he was trying to explain a light. It was a light coming from this great cloud. But he said fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the mist there was as the color of amber, and out of the midst of the fire. So he was letting it be known that it is all through it. You had this light, and it was moving like a whirlwind, like a tornado, and it was like a big cloud, a great cloud. Now, I'm not going to give you all of the descriptions that he received, but we're going to get straight to the point. Jump down to verse, let's see here. Jump down to verse 14 and say, no, do I want to start at 14? Let's see here. Let me start at 12, Salakia. First chapter, Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 12. "And they went everyone straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. And he's saying they, that's also consistent with these uh seem like flocks of chariots that's being seen in the sky. They come like a flock of birds. Uh, verse 13, it say, as the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the now look at that burning coal. When you think of a coal, it's something black, or it's an object that's burnt, that's lighting up, because the coal is a black rock, but at the same time it's on fire, so it has light surrounding it, and in the midst of it, it says their appearance was like the burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. See, he's trying to describe lights. He said fire, he said brightness, and he said lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. So he's giving you every description he can of this light. Verse 14, he's saying the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Verse 15, it says, now as I beheld the living creature, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. 16, the appearance of the wheels and their work was like the color of a beryl, and they four had one likeness, and the appearance of their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. That's why you always see uh, the so-called UFO's with it's in a circle like a wheel, and it has uh, another small circle in the middle. 17, it say when they went upon the four sides, and they turned not when they went. So it's moving. It has sides to it, and it's moving. Okay, and it's not turning, but when it's in that circle of motion, it seems like it's turning, but it's moving and going in different directions. Okay, verse 18, it says, as for their rings, now he's saying it's like a wheel, and it's like rings, were full of eyes round about them four. So now, just like in the thumbnail, they got small circles like eyes, and it says the rings were full of eyes. So they it's like rings, just like a wheel, but the ring has eyes or small lights in the ring. Okay, let's see. Verse 19, it said, and when the living creature went, the wheels went by them, and when the living creature were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. So wherever this thing is going, the living creature is going with it. You see, because this is uh the vehicle or the car that the living creature, which is a spirit, is moving. And the next verse is going to break that down. Verse 20 say, whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So you see, this is the the vehicle that this spiritual living creature is in. And he's saying they're inside of the wheels. Verse 21, it say, when those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So he said it 2 times. The spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So this angel is in the wheels. This angel is in this vehicle. 22. And the likeness of the firmament upon the head of the living creature was the color of a terrible crystal. See, now that's another thing that shines like a light, stretched forth over their heads above. 23. And under the firmament was their wing straight, the one towards the other. Everyone had 2. Now he's getting back into the appearance of the angel. But he was breaking down that chariot and how these chariots was moving. Okay, let's see if we get back into the chariot. Describing the chariot. Let's see. Let's see here. Uh-huh. Okay, 27. He's kind of talking about the chariot. Said, I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. And so he pretty much describing this angel. And so now, just starting off his whole writings, he lets you see how the angels, these living creatures, these living creations that God created, which are angels, they are spirits that he's created, they have wheels that they ride around in. See, you put wheels on a car. We call cars our wheels. So these are angel cars. The cars of the angels, the vehicles of the angels. Okay, now let's get let's see. Not only do you call them cars, but chariots. Okay, now let's see about these chariots. Let's get the chariots, and then we'll go back into some of these major instances. Now, Yahushua in Isaiah 66 and 15, it says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. There go that whirlwind again. With his chariots like a whirlwind, to render anger and fury, and his rebuke with the flames of fire. So the Most High's Son, Yahushua, he's gonna come with his chariots, with his angels. Okay, this is Isaiah 66 and 15. We jump down to verse 20. He say, and they shall bring all their brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations upon horses, which represents something that you ride in, and in chariots, which represents something that you ride in. See, and who is they? They are the angels. Let's get that. Matthew Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. It says, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, so these chariots or these vehicles is what the angels is going to gather the brethren or the family or the bloodline of the Israelites. And mind you, this is after he said the Lord is coming with his chariots. And they're going to gather the Israelites. Okay. Now, we got the chariots. Let's look at real quick some of these other times that you had the angels appear. And look at the wording that they use. Matthew chapter 3, verse 16, it says, and Yahushua, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit. Okay, what was this Spirit? Of God descending like a dove and lightning upon him. You see, what was descending? What was this Spirit? Well, Ezekiel told us, when the Spirit go up and when the Spirit go down, it's like a great cloud, and it's got fire, lightning like lamps. The brightness of it. That's why I say, and lightning upon him. So this was a chariot, a vehicle of the angels coming down. The angel car came down and talked to Yahushua. It's verse 17. It said, and lo, the voice from heaven saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Okay, not only that, let's get another one. Let's see here. Let's see. I think it's chapter 2. Let me make sure real quick. Okay, Matthew chapter 2, verse 9, it say, when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star. See, what is this star? Because we talking about light. The star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. We know stars do not move. That's one thing that if you got any sense, you know stars don't move. They are in the sky and the people moving. The star not moving. So this is something that's bright in the sky like a star and it's following them. Verse 10, it say, hold on, did I finish that verse? Yeah, stood where the young child was. Verse 10, when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. Okay. And so this was the chariot that they saw. They saw the star of the angel car flying over them. Okay, let me get Luke. Not Luke. Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1 verse 9. It say, now when they had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud, there we go again, said that great, like a great cloud, and a cloud received him. See, that was a great cloud, the vehicle of the angels, the car of the angels. It was a taxi pretty much of the angels. They came down and received him out of their sight. So that means it took him up real fast. Verse 10 is saying, while they looked steadfastly towards the heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. Verse 11, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing into heaven? Meaning looking at the sky. This same Yahushua which is taken up from you in heaven shall come in like manner as ye have seen him go in heaven. See, he came, he went up in that chariot, and he's gonna come in like manner, meaning he's gonna come with chariots like a whirlwind, with a great cloud, like Ezekiel said. Ezekiel chapter 1 and 4. That great cloud. Okay. Let's see, we at 20. See if I can grab. Now we know he said he's gonna come with his cloud, like in Luke. You got Luke 21. We can grab Luke real quick. Luke 21 and 27. It say, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with great power and great glory. See, he's gonna be coming with his chariots like a whirlwind, in his vehicle. See, he gonna come in his vehicle, and his vehicle is gonna be power. Now the Old Testament talks about Elijah being snatched up by the chariot of fire. That was a UFO. You got them in Egypt, where a pillar of fire was following them. That was a chariot, because he just didn't have a cloud with fire following them. That was an angel. See, now in the Maccabees, you got appearances of angels in the sky. Those were chariots. Now I want to get Second Esdras. Think chapter 13. Second Esdras chapter 13. I'm thinking that's what I'm looking for. Let's start at the beginning. Second Esdras 13 and 13 and verse. Let me start at verse 3. It says, and I behold and look, the man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So people was trembling. That's what in Revelation chapter 1 it said the people shall be well when they see him, meaning they're gonna be trembling when they see him. That's why the verse says the things trembled that were seen under him. Everything gonna tremble when they see him. It say, and whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fell when it felt the fire. Let's see here. Jump down to verse 6. He say, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. So they describe this chariot, this vehicle that Yahushua was in. They described it as a great mountain, and that's why you see these these movies like Star Trek and these movies like what is it? Star Wars, and they have a mothership. See, he is gonna be in the mothership vehicle because he this thing say a great mountain. Let me get verse 7 and say, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was driven, but I could not. See, this thing is in the air. It looked like a mountain, but this ain't no mountain. And he flying up upon it. He's standing on this mountain, or he is with the mountain, or in the mountain, or on the mountain, however you want to say it. Okay. Look at verse 10. He say, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. See, his chariot, he's going to be zapping people. He's going to be shooting out fire. Verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. See, when he come on his great chariot in his vehicle, his mothership, he gonna be zapping people. And see, these radars of the so-called white man, they already seeing these things. See, they can see into outer space with these radars. They can rewind the tape, the recording of the radar, and see these vehicles flying around everywhere. And they know it's Yahweh because they got all the records. Ain't no telling what record that they got that they ain't telling. Wallace Willis wrote the song "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." They knew about him before we did, till we got to the internet. They already had that information. Who was the other person? It was let's see. The coming around the mountain. See, they knew about the coming around the mountain. That song was called when the chariots come, or something about the chariots is coming, and they took it from that song and made coming around the mountain. And they knew Willis Wallace was writing about it. It said when the angels come. See, he had songs about these things, and these were slaves in the cotton field when they can see a clear sky and they can see what's in the sky. And he describing stuff that they were seeing. That's why they was singing about him. Say, we see the angels all the time. We know ain't nowhere in the world that there's any kind of plane, helicopter, because they don't exist. Any kind of person that's in the sky, and we know stars don't move. So what is these things that's flying all above the cotton field, in the tobacco field, in the pine straw field, and whatever, any other kind of field, the corn field, any other kind of field we got to pick, the sugar cane field. What is these things? They was the vehicles of the angels, and they was letting them know that it's gonna be a day that they coming. Then they had churches in 1830, major preachers in 1830. So by the time it got to 1865, they already knew that it was chariots, and the chariots was always appearing and showing themselves to the Israelites. Now Isaiah 31 and 5, it say, as birds flying, so will the Lord of armies defend Jerusalem. How is he going to do that? As birds flying. He going to have his vehicles flying all over the place. And they're going to be defending these chariots. These angel cars is going to be uh, flying all over the place defending Jerusalem. Jerusalem is not just a place. It stands for a people. Look at verse 6. Say, defending Jerusalem. Let me start over. Verse 5. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it. So that's how they're going to be delivered. Through these chariots flying. And passing over, he will preserve it. He's going to be passing over them and delivering them, beaming them up. Verse 6, turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. You see, this is why the Jerusalem represent the children of Israel. Let me get some more of these. Let's see. Isaiah 60. Isaiah 60 and verse 8. It says, who are these that fly as a cloud? Now here we go, that cloud again. As the doves to the window. There go the doves. The doves was in Ezekiel. No, the doves was in Matthew. It say the Spirit came down like a dove from heaven, like a dove. And see, because the dove is God's favorite bird, when you go into the Apocrypha, he tells you that. And so these are some of the instances that they describe the chariot, and it was a common knowledge to know this is how the Most High is gonna deliver his people. Let me get that the finale in Revelation 11. I'll end it on that. Revelations 11. Well, it's 11 and 12, but my book open up to 1 Thessalonians. Let me get 1 Thessalonians 4. That talks about the chariots coming. 4 and 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Yahweh shall rise first. Verse 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him in the clouds. You see, these clouds is not no puffy smoke, a puff of smoke that's in the air. Nobody's gonna be beamed up into the puff of smoke. They're going up in a chariot. That great mountain that Yahweh was riding in to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. See, that's what they said in 2nd Esdras 13, that it was a peaceful multitude gathered unto him, the one that was flying on the great mountain. Okay, now let's get Revelation 11 and 12. Okay, 11 verse 12, it said, and they heard a great voice, same thing as in 1 Thessalonians, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, once again, and their enemies beheld them. See, this cloud is how he's coming. It's in too many places. And this is how he's coming. This is a great cloud, as Ezekiel said. But it's the vehicle of the angels. And just to end it off on one more, since I'm here, Revelation chapter 1 verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Meaning these Edomites is the ones that pierced them and killed them. They gonna see him, and that's how he's coming with the clouds. So I'm gonna leave it there. The clouds are not the clouds, but in the Bible, the clouds are the angel cars. And the angel cars are the chariots, the UFO'S that they're seeing all over the news and everything. They finally identifying them and ain't calling people crazy when they see them and report them. And the top generals know that these are angels, but they calling them demons. But the demons are angels. They living creatures. So you can call them whatever you want to call them, but we know that they are angels of God, and they gonna come and take this possession of this earth back for all time. See, all of the rulerships of the Gentiles, and it's gonna be over. Now the Israelites is gonna take possession of the whole earth like they had before under the reign of King David and King Solomon. And so, but this is not gonna be a 40-year stretch. See, this is gonna be a everlasting stretch. That's what Daniel 7 and 18. The saints shall take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever and ever. So I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves gathered around the globe. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.